Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to our worst films of 2019 with the boy Connor.
Hello.
Benny.
Hi there.
Guys, if you haven't checked out our best of the year, head in there. If you want something constructive, positive, and welcoming, if you're looking for something hate-filled, savage, and brutal, well, you're in the right place.
Wait,
so we've
what?
had a few beers and other drinks, and we're going to be talking about the 5 films that really rocked the boat, you know.
Really grinded our
unsettled,
gears.
Yeah. It's just no good. It's no good. So it's 5 from the top
Oh, we're getting straight into
to
it,
the
are we?
bottom.
All right.
Connor,
Number
why don't you
5
hit it up, man?
for me was Aladdin.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about this movie today, and I couldn't pick whether it was going to be top 10 or bottom 5.
I couldn't either. But this seems to be a common theme actually through my bottom 5, but Aladdin, I feel like Aladdin lost something. And this is directly because you son of a bitch, stop it.
I'm so sorry. That was really aggressive.
All right, can we just at least get through this, please? All right. No, actually, it's because it is in direct relation to the fact that it's not as good as Stop It. It's just not as good as the animated one, put simply. I think there's a lot of this movie that is actually quite enjoyable, and sorry, and does I don't know if I'd say cool things with the original source material, but does adequately entertaining things.
Does something.
Does something,
with
yeah.
it, yeah.
But in terms of like the first 20 minutes when he's running through Agrabah is so, for me at least, it's just excruciating. You know, the musical numbers aren't as good. The new musical numbers. What was it? What did she sing?
Speechless.
No.
Oh,
Speechless.
No.
I know, George.
Dude,
I know
that's a fucking tune.
I
and
know
a
you
half,
like that
baby.
tune, and
That's-
you know, as someone that actually appreciates music, I just can't appreciate that. I don't know
That's
how
a
you
tune,
can.
dude.
No, the animated series brings to it a levity, an enjoyableness, something that can't be captured in live action. And seeing that transposed into live action while trying to maintain the same kind of feel as the original, I feel is it's just not good. Like, I mean, I would have much rather them have gone a completely different route. I think that they should have gone the route that they seem to be going with the new Mulan feature, which is that like let's step back. Let's not try and make a remake of the animated film. Let's do our own thing. Let's make it exciting. Let's make it interesting. So yeah, I'm very kind of meh.
Yeah,
on
this
Aladdin.
was like middle of the middle for
Yeah.
me. I
You
didn't love
loved
it.
this fucking
I
movie.
didn't hate it. I fucking loved it. Eh? No, I just like. I think the compositions of the songs were quite well done. I think like the arrangements and the way they recorded them with the ensembles.
Yeah.
I think they were like
Some
quite
of them,
rich.
yes.
very rich
They
sounding.
started off on very much the wrong foot. Their
Dude,
version of
I-
Arabian Nights I thought was terrible.
Dude, I really liked that. It was like operatic and
I get what you were saying. I like the operatic sense of it, but
Yeah.
there's something about that original that is so timeless and
it's got nothing
slightly
on the original.
racist and
Out of
and
touch.
wonderful and like
Out of touch 90s American
yeah,
cartoon.
no, but which is why I think they should have just not tried to rehash it. They shouldn't have tried to redo it. Like my mantra when it comes to these things is like, if I want to watch Aladdin, the original, I'll just watch the original. Bring something new to the table. Bring something like add value to the story.
Yep.
Tell a different version of events. This is just very like, are you all right?
This aircon's fucking me up, man. It's like set my nose off or something. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's not number 5 pick.
Number 5.
George, give us your number 5.
5 for me. I think I'm going to put a disclaimer in here with my worst of the year in that You know, I didn't see anything this year that was like Birdemic. You know, there was nothing like really just like, what was that other production company you mentioned earlier?
Asylum.
Just lowest common denominator, just awful. You know,
Just films that aren't actually meant to be films. Like
I didn't see
just-
anything like that. So
Yeah.
my worst of the year tends to be things that I had some form of expectation for, and it didn't deliver on that. Not all of them, but some of them definitely. And number 5 for me, it's Chapter 2. That definitely falls in that category. I didn't want to put it any higher on the list because it's a gorgeous film in a lot of ways. It's like, in a lot of ways, it's so well put together, but it really, for me, adds no value other than that scene we got in the trailer with Jessica Chastain and the old lady, the creepy old naked lady. Other than that,
and the little girl under the bleachers with the facial scar.
which girl? What?
The child in
At the baseball game or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, but like,
I think that was great. That was,
it was
good as
great,
anything in chapter
but
1.
is that like any better than How You're Georgie? Like, it's pretty similar territory.
Totally.
You know, I didn't feel like this film added anything to the
This is higher on
mythos.
my list for the record.
Okay. That's good to
fuck
hear.
this movie.
Why are you defending?
Because
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it has that
I
one
will
great
defend
scene.
it. I don't think it's
No,
nearly as
shut
bad as
up.
that.
it adds,
in the sense, it's
it's a
certainly not-
rehash of one
It's
and done worse, like
yeah.
significantly
Yeah.
worse, and doesn't. And number one was so, it knew what it wanted to be, and this one feels so muddled.
Number 1 was easily my top 10 of 2017.
2017,
And this movie was
If
so
this lands-
so hamstrung by being slavish to the book, which I think everyone agrees this element of the book, the adult half, is much worse. It was worse in the Tim Curry miniseries. It was worse in the book, and it was definitely worse in this
Yeah.
version.
I think if this lands on your bottom 5, it is because you have set expectation for it to be better than it was, and so that's.
But why wouldn't we? Because the first one was great.
I know, but I'm saying like in its own little thing, and I like 1 was great, but it wasn't like, for me, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you guys. So I don't think I had as high expectations. It's certainly a lot of missed opportunities, things I thought they didn't do very well, some very questionable decisions towards the end.
Yeah, the stuff with the ritual of
Chud.
Chud.
Pathetic. And see that's
the fuck?
entirely owed to the book.
But they changed it from the book. It's
They
different
did,
from the book.
they did, but they still did it. Like
They
I
still
feel like
did
if
it.
they had done a complete, like if they had, if we weren't living,
No.
if we weren't living in this era where you kind of have to be really adherent to the source material, I feel like they would have done their own thing and it might have been better. Like based on the first part, if they had just followed on with their own chapter from that, they had the most amazing possible cast. I still think it's the best young to old casting I've ever seen in my life.
Potentially, yeah.
And I enjoyed the comedy and it was very fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was
But
very funny.
The actual story of it I thought was just pathetic.
This one had more, like, it tugged at more heartstrings than the first one for me, around the relationship between, I can't remember their names, the two guys. Help me out here, bud.
Mike and
Bill Hader and
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
yes.
I found that to be like heart-wrenching
Richie and
in
whatever.
terms of the story. Far more heart-wrenching than anything in the first one, I'd say. So yeah, I think that I think the movie does deserve props in certain areas, which is why it doesn't make it into my bottom 5.
It feels so, as you said, Connor, missed opportunity. They retread so many things. They go back to sequences.
They remake the first movie.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
that was
they de-aged
pathetic.
the kids, and the kids looked weird in some scenes. I don't care what anyone says. They looked
No,
fucking
they looked weird. Yeah,
weird.
100%.
Finn Wolfhard, you look like a different person. Like, yeah, and that's fine. You're fucking 14 to 16 years old. That's what happens. But I think they made some really bad decisions on this production. I think they felt so owed they just wanted to replicate the first one essentially.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately understandable because that movie was such a runaway success.
Yeah.
But you can
you
hear
imagine, like, as a
sandwich
production
this
company,
in, sandwich that in.
as a production company, you'd be freaked out because you're like, okay, whatever happened in the first one, let's try and recreate like that. Let's try and capture that magic, and you're never going to be able to do that.
So as a massive fan of the first one, this has got to be my number 5 of the worst of 2019.
There you go.
What are the biggest disappointments?
Massive.
Of your life.
Actually,
life.
out of
What an
all,
easy life you've had.
I know.
Out
I
of-
only care about movies.
out of
Yeah.
all of mine, that is the biggest disappointment out of my
Same.
bottom 5.
Same.
Yeah,
That's my biggest disappointment.
because I remember you saying that this would probably come in on your top 3 of the year. Like you
Yeah, I
had
remember you saying that.
expectations of that being up there. So that's rough.
The first one absolutely was. So really
Yeah.
big bummer. My number 5 though is Velvet Buzzsaw. The
I
movie
think that's the same as your bottom 5 in
probably
Mid-year.
yeah.
Buzz.
I've actually just amended it as we're sitting here.
I-
The movie that didn't know whether it was an unfunny comedy or an unscary horror movie.
also exactly what you said.
I know
in mid-year,
because I can't believe how little this movie knew which direction it wanted to go in.
But see, there's nothing egregious enough about this movie to really warrant the bottom 5 for me. Like it's
But that's going to be my whole list is movies
It's
that
movies that
were just
just
kind of
didn't-
formless.
yeah.
You know,
That's fair. I mean, especially in terms of expectation, because the trailers made this out to be a fucking hectic,
wicked.
wild
It was
ride.
from the director of Nightcrawler.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
who, looking
was
back on
amazing
it-
in it. Like,
It was
credit where
very
credit's
fun,
due.
yeah. But
yeah, like I think there's a lot of wasted opportunity in that one. To be fair, like I mean, the robot hobo was well freaky, and I reckon that there's
yeah,
a lot
cool.
of-
and there was nothing more
definitely
to
was cool.
that thing than was in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's like that would have been great.
The promise that Nightcrawler showed was like tantalizing in conjunction with how strong that trailer was.
Mm.
This film went and put emphasis on things that I really didn't think. There was so many interesting ingredients in this film, and it chose to put emphasis on areas that I didn't think was the best option. And ultimately, this is higher on my list.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh,
and,
really?
And Velvet Buzzsaw. It actually had some really cool shit in there, and it was in the end it was just a pile o.
Mm.
There's that last scene with the blade saw and the tattoo
Mm.
and all that, and I was like, "What the fuck, man? Like, what is going on right here?"
Like I watch a lot of horror, and a lot of horror is like horror is
You
a
got
very
a stretch of the imagination.
horror is a very inconsistent genre, and a lot of it
I
is
mean,
quite
inconsistent
shit.
within movies.
Yeah, but at least with a lot of shitty horror movies, you'll at least get something from it. There will be something well done in it. You'll find a good scare in it. Velvet Buzzsaw had like nothing.
I liked Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, and I
So-
liked the stuff around the art culture.
I
thought
meant
that was
I
an
meant
interesting
specifically in
setting.
terms of horror.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
there
a
was some
lot
good
of,
stuff
like,
outside of that.
The kind of like pulls on some threads, like the old dude with all the paintings. Like the paintings, I found freaky.
Yeah.
I thought that was like
That wasn't explored at all, though.
Yeah.
That was
No.
so well set up.
So
and
fucking
discarded.
nebulous.
yeah.
It shows you like the direction of the film. Like you can really pull an audience in and butcher it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
If
like
you-
they had
if
no
you-
idea.
If you try to tackle too many different things.
I'm very interested because, like, if this is higher on your list, I have a feeling that there'll be 2 movies that are kind of variable in our top 5, and 3 that will definitely be there. Oh, maybe not for you.
Unpredictable.
Two that will definitely be there.
All right.
My number 4. I think this is also the same as mid-year for me. Was Detective Pikachu.
What?
What do you mean what?
Number 4 worst film of the year, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
You've had
Did
a
you just-
great year.
Did you just fall asleep halfway through the film and just fail to watch the rest of it?
Two-thirds through the film.
When did the mountains shit happen?
I'd say 2/3.
Is that 2/3? All right, I'll give it 2/3.
That's.
It's enough to make it.
I mean, I'm defending this film, and that's generous.
Basically, all right, let's be generous and say 2/3 of this film was. All right, I'll be generous. First quarter of this film, fantastic. Really, really good.
Yes.
Second quarter, good. Fine.
Goes down by 25%.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
It's just 25%.
how are you going to
25%,
sustain that
25
start? Like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Third quarter, fucking trash.
It's going down at a steeper curve. And the final act, it literally starts at 100%
It's trash.
of how good. Let's say on a scale of how this is
How
the
good you
best
could
this
expect
film
a
is
Detective
going to be.
Pikachu film to be.
It just
Yeah.
goes down by 25% every quarter.
Fourth quarter was almost entirely
We're in
ripped
quarters
off from the Scooby Doo movie, which
maybe,
is
yeah, I don't know.
is the worst thing I could possibly say about it.
Yeah, look, I just
Fifth quarter, don't even get started on.
For me, a lot of this comes from the fact that it's so rare that I go into a movie that is so impressive so early on that just so utterly failed to deliver on anything. Like, it just really, really messed it up.
It had a lack of continuity in tone and direction.
In quality.
Like the
And quality.
the first half felt like very grounded and real, and then the second half feels very cartoony and outlandish. And
even the graphic design, like even like it's just like it suddenly just becomes weird. It's like they didn't give a fuck.
Very bizarre. I feel like an
Um,
important distinction to make is, Connor, you don't give a shit about Pokemon at all.
But see, again,
No,
like,
no,
if I
no.
just didn't give a shit about Pokemon, then the first half wouldn't have been.
No, but I'm just saying, I think this is important to state. Me and George, you do.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like you don't care at all. So you have no.
up until Ruby
dog in this
Sapphire,
fight.
I'm in on Pokemon.
Yeah, so I think for us, like sitting down watching the beginning of it was like, this is amazing. They're
Yeah.
actually making a proper Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably a little more generous on this film because every other like narrative, anime movie thing in Pokemon sucks shit. Like all the movies are terrible.
And that's generous.
Yeah. So this is like kind of a best case
I
scenario
remember as a
compared
kid
to that.
watching Mewtwo Strikes Back or
Yeah.
whatever and just being like, why do I feel so empty inside? Like I really want to, like 10-year-old George, like I wanted to love it, but it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I definitely did at the time, but I've actually
No,
watched
I
it more
always
recently and been
thought-
like, this is awful.
No, I always thought that movie was weird
Mm.
and didn't have a personality.
Just not to get too off topic, good. I've seen all these articles lately. You know how they've remade Mewtwo Strikes Back in CGI?
Yeah.
And people have been like, why have they remade this masterpiece in CGI? I'm like, that movie's a fucking piece of shit. It's nicely animated. Like, I would agree. I'd prefer that animation to the CGI animation, but it's still shit.
It's horrible.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have no doubt that it belongs in the bottom five. The second half of that film is just a garbage fire. I remember specifically the moment that I was like, "Oh, this is like I'm in trouble here," and it was literally when they start sliding down the mountains.
Mm.
I was like, "We're at that point now." Okay,
Here we go.
and everything after that was trash.
Number 4 for me, Velvet Buzzsaw.
Okay,
And I also, like, it's an honorable mention for me, but I want to throw in a little Netflix double feature at number 4, Bird Box. It was in my worst of 2018.
And it wasn't even in that year when you did it.
It was released in 2019, but I'm bringing it in here. Fuck everyone. Fuck everyone.
What is happening
This
right
is
now?
just happening. All right. So yeah, Bird.
You've been re-energized by
Bird
Trent
Box
Reznor
challenge.
being like, that was a waste of my fucking
Did
time.
you see that? So Trent Reznor was like, "Fuck that noise."
Fuck the noise I made in that movie.
Yeah, we discussed Velvet Buzzsaw, not the greatest, and Bird Box, not the greatest either, but somewhat of a cultural phenomenon and really interesting to kind of reflect on the Bird Box challenge.
Why are we
And
talking about Bird?
What? Yeah, what has happened?
Bird Box, baby? Bird Box.
I think that movie's
You're trying
not
to-
that bad, actually.
I mean, if we're gonna do like just bringing in random movies from other years, can I just for the third year running
No.
mention Dark
No.
Tower?
Yeah, yes.
No!
Fuck that
can.
movie.
You
We
can.
swore to never speak of that film again.
You were supposed to every year bring that in as your number 5.
God damn it.
Well, I mean,
And you didn't adhere to that, and now you're
I'm
bringing
bringing
it
it
in.
in now. Fuck.
I
Dark
fucking
Tower.
hate you for reminding me of that movie and through that reminding me of Ready Player One because they're both the worst
both the
movies
same.
of the fucking decade. God damn you. Are you done with your talking about... What were you even talking? Velvet Buzzsaw.
Velvet Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Let's
All
move
right,
on.
let's-
All right. I'm going
George, you're beerless.
to say my number 4 now. Yes?
Is that the one after 5?
I think so. I think
Okay.
it might be. All right.
Before 5.
Good. Mine's It Chapter
Thank
2
Fuck.
by Andy Muschietti. What a fucking disappointment. We've already
Muschietti,
chatted
we
about
didn't
it.
From
mention
God to demigod for me.
That is such a fall from grace in terms of. I mean, I don't even know that it's a fall from grace necessarily. I have a strong feeling as though that. It's so hard to tell whether that
I
was
don't
studio
really
or that was
blame him because it's not even studio. It's the movie was well directed. I found it to be really good as a comedy, like very
It
well
was very
acted,
funny, yeah.
very well made. But the story was fucking garbage, but it was taken directly from the book. So what are you gonna do? Like I was saying
But they
before,
didn't have the totem. They didn't have the totem in the book. So
Yeah,
that whole
so,
like
yeah, okay,
fetch
yeah.
quest thing that
Yes.
they did.
that was
And
horrible.
I don't have a problem with a fetch quest. I put Rise of Skywalker at number 10. Everyone's bitching about fetch quest. I'm into it. Fucking
That
go
was
down this,
bad,
that.
though.
But they didn't set it up with any emotional baggage. And so it felt really flat.
It
It,
was-
it just felt like a retread.
It was just a retread of what people complained about being the worst part of the first one, which was just like going through every kid and their jump scare. And they did it again.
Yeah.
It
But
was
they
so
did it
tone
twice
deaf.
through in this one.
Yeah, it was insane. Like I'm so sad that this movie has to be in my fucking bottom 5 because
It should have been in your top 3.
that first film, yeah, is one of my favorites of all time.
Imagine if it had been like incredible and we'd had this sick little
Imagine if it was
two-hander.
just good. I can't because what we have is not.
'Cause I like literally never want to watch this movie again.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Like I will watch one again and again. I like Luca's one as its own little thing.
Hmm.
It's like I will watch that again and again. I
I
don't
mean, that's
need
a good thing though, right? Number
Yeah,
one, you can
100%.
just watch as its own movie. Like it
100%.
ends. It you know it's
It's a bummer though, because every fucking Marvel movie has that like so and so will return, you know, and
Yeah.
they'll return in Avengers, they'll return in something else. And It Chapter 1 had the best one I'd ever fucking seen, which was every person who went to see that movie who had no idea there was going to be another part, and it ends with It Chapter 1, and everyone in the audience was like, there's
damn.
more, there's more of this amazing thing, and then I had to live through my own and everyone else's disappointment on that one. That's my number 1, actually. I'm changing it. Connor.
We're up to number 3, are we?
Yeah.
number 3.
Number 3 for me is Hellboy.
Hello boy. This
Hello
is an
boy.
honorable mention. Honorable
really?
mention.
Me too. I booted it out as soon as we started recording.
Yeah, because
It's
'Cause
enjoyable enough in its own way.
with Hellboy.
I mean, oh,
well,
really?
listen, it's your number 3. You take it away.
Yeah, look, for me, this is a movie that so clearly didn't have a strong idea of what it was. It set expectations super high. Like, I mean, they're coming off the back of the Del Toro films. They're going like, oh, we're going to go stronger towards what the...
I'm gonna let you finish. I feel like you're taking a weird detour by saying expectations were high for this, though.
They had started out high. Like, when you got the first...
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
this
that's
is-
true.
I feel like we were hopeful.
Just
but-
yeah,
Dark.
let me finish,
Feel like
and
it's
then you'll be
different.
able to, like,
Dark
you know,
Hellboy.
you literally just said, "I'm gonna let you finish," and then didn't let me finish.
yeah, but
Yeah. So coming off the back of the Del Toro films, we know that we're not going to get those. Suddenly, we've got someone coming in saying like, "Oh, I'll make something that's a little bit more truer to the comic books." That I think sparked a lot of people's interest. Then we got
darker, more horror.
yeah. Then we got some posters or some
budget.
concept art. You know, a lot of people were like, "This looks sick." And
David
even,
Harbour looks awesome.
even when we got to the trailers, I think that there was a lot of people that were still holding out a lot of hope for this. So that's what I mean by like the expectations being high, because I think on a concept level, there's a lot promised with regards to this film, and then you actually get to the film, and it lives up to none of those.
oh, this is barely a film.
yeah, like this is like you could, you know, this is
Was this
not-
directed by Paul W.S. Anderson?
Fucking
there,
oath
there,
it was.
there are some cool scenes.
I said it in a good way. Yeah.
There are some cool scenes, like the Baba Yaga. No,
Yeah.
Baba Yaga.
I know.
Cool scene,
Yeah.
like visually, really interesting.
Cool creature design.
Yeah.
I know you guys didn't love it, but I love the Mexican boxing scene at the beginning with the vampire bat. I thought that was dope. I thought that was really dope.
Yeah, I actually actively within the last half hour just removed this from my bottom 5 because I'm like, they're swinging hard enough and missing, but still, like, they're giving it a fucking
terribly
go.
hard.
There was
Exactly, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
From what the reports say, there was 13 producers on set.
Yeah.
And the director was going fucking mad.
And there were parts of this movie that literally impressed me. Like there was the warthog fucking guy who I thought was actually more kind of cool than I expected. There was the bit where Mila Jovovich is on the hill, like summoning all the demons, and they're coming up. And I'm like, the CGI in this is much better than I would have expected.
But that scene was terrible.
Most of this movie is fucking terrible.
All her dialogue
Totally.
was
But individual elements
shockingly
were
bad.
kind of fun. And then you get stuff, you at least get stuff that is so bad it is kind of amazing. Like when they all vomit out the spirits, like the weird goopy fucking ectoplasm. Like that is some of the worst shit I've seen in anything ever. So
what about the green screen, like with the giant and Hellboy and that whole field sequence?
Yeah.
That looked like a kid on YouTube with a green screen in his parents' living room. It looked at that level.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird mismatch of like competent filmmaking aspects, just in terms of design and execution in small parts. And then I remember the movie started watching the editing and being like, is this an actual fucking film?
Because we had a few drinks before and I was like, am I that hammered?
Yeah. Like
I was.
Am I missing something? Like,
how is
it was
Hellboy
insane
moving too fast for me?
What was in that drink?
That was
So it's kind of fun at least.
Yeah, the entertainment factor and just like kind of like some of the novelty elements of it just push it out of my bottom 5. But I agree, Connor.
I'm super interested to see what's on the rest of you guys' lists.
I agree, Connor, like that the promise of the dark horror, Hellboy, gritty, where's that film?
Yeah.
Sign me up still.
All right, so what's your number 3 then?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Ditto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is our number
Hobbs
3.
and or Shaw.
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
And or Shaw.
Couldn't quite put this in my bottom 5.
Couldn't face the prospect of thinking about this film for one more second in your life.
Because for the exact same reason that you said, there's enough entertainment value that you can get out of this. Like, I
struggle to get entertainment out of this.
I think there's more entertainment in this than there is in Hellboy.
I would rather watch Hellboy 365 every day compared to Hobbs and Shaw.
Because Hellboy has the so
100%.
bad it's good. I don't think Hobbs and Shaw
100%.
has that.
I think you could watch Hobbs and Shaw.
I think Hobbs and Shaw just has the
It's so bland. It's bland.
yeah, blandness.
And you know what? I'm kind of getting over The Rock. Like
we've been saying that for a year.
Yeah, but I think like
here we are now.
I think
None of us watch
I
Skyscraper.
really am over his shtick, especially since he was on the UFC with the BMF belt and he was turning up. I was like, cool, man. Like, yeah, okay. But no more Hobbs and Shaw, all right? No more.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that a movie with two characters I liked so much
who have been on screen together, who have done well together.
Yeah, was so uninteresting. And they even had Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds, and I was still just like...
That made me so angry.
Yeah,
that was the least egregious part of that film.
I actually kind of liked him in it, but...
I was like, this is so lazy. Literally, hey, Ryan Reynolds, what's your character? It's you, dude. Just do some shit.
Just be Ryan.
And we'll be... It was just... It was like trendy, trend, no nuance or, you know, and we're looking for nuance
I don't know
in
how
Fast
you've just
and
gone
Furious.
from defending Hellboy to now just slamming Hobbs and Shaw.
Because Hellboy's weirder.
Because, like, for me...
I don't know about that.
It is.
Hobbs and Shaw was weird.
It wasn't weird. They
it's
spent
fast
20
cars,
minutes...
it's glitz and glamour.
There's 20 minutes at the end where they finally decide like, oh, if we both attack Idris Elba together, then we can finally beat him. And
You don't
it's
think
like,
that's weirder?
I don't think it's weird. I think that's really just sad.
No,
And do you
I'm not
remember
saying
that
this
scene-
is a good film. Like, it's
Do you
a
remember
bad
that
film.
scene where they like do the haka with the Rock and
Yeah.
and
And it just becomes daylight suddenly?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fucking bizarre.
What the fuck happened there? Like, why is
I love how
no-
he puts his
What?
shirt on before he gets on the car. I remember that specifically.
What the fuck? Like,
So we didn't have
what
to work out
happened?
before
Like,
those
I'm
scenes.
actually curious on what the decision making process was there. And they're like,
Well, the chase had to be during day.
See,
men-
that actually
mental.
that definitely is part of my list because it was also very disappointing. Because I loved them in Fast 6, 7,
whatever
8,
it was, yeah.
whatever it was.
Which
That was my favorite part of that movie. And
exactly?
Yeah,
Which
no.
one were they in together with the prison scene?
Fast 5 onwards, I actually really like all of those movies. And I
Yeah.
feel like I actually kind of have taken them for granted. Because everyone kind of shits on that franchise in terms of its quality. But I think the Fast movies are so much better than Hobbs and Shaw.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
agree
think
as well.
Fast.
And so clearly they're doing something right that Hobbs and Shaw did not.
Oh, fuck, I can't remember which one's which. Hobbs and Shaw's my number 3.
Yeah, me too. Connor?
Oh, we're
Dose?
running through this. Dose, as I can only imagine you're number 1, Ben. Men in Black.
Ooh.
International.
This is higher on the list for me. Spoilers.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The only reason that it's not number 1 is because there's something well more deserving of the number 1 spot.
Curious.
Yeah, look, this movie was a fucking dumpster fire. Like it's just
No, a dumpster fire would be fun to watch. This was just a dumpster.
yeah, no, yeah. To be fair, it's
It's a
just,
rotting dumpster.
this movie is
It's like a hobo
we
pissing
gave
on
it,
it.
we came at it objectively, though. I think we gave it as many points
I
as
agree.
we could.
I like this franchise
I really
in a lot
think
of ways.
I think we did a good job
just,
on
like,
that
they
review.
just didn't do anything with it. They had the opportunity. They had it there, and they just like it was predictable. It was the plot was just all over the place. Like
And Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, those guys, they can riff off each other.
They're heavy hitters.
Thor Ragnarok, man. Those guys were riffing off each other perfectly.
this, there's no chemistry. No.
Stilted.
Oh God, it's just bad.
So this,
Just bad.
This made me realize that Men in Black needs to just kind of call it a day.
No, they need to be a series again. They need to go. They need to take the.
That would be cool. That would be
They
cool.
need to take the animated series and just continue that, or do it live action. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Just
A
do
Netflix-
X-Files, but with fucking laser guns.
Yeah,
Jeez.
perfect.
This movie disappointed me on a level that I can't accurately describe.
What was it about this film? Like, if we were to objectively,
I can't remember enough about this film to really give you a solid reason why, because it's just nothing spectacular about this movie. There's nothing memorable about this movie.
It was completely soulless. It was the biggest definition
Yeah.
of using a brand to sell something I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
It was just blockbuster, paint by numbers. Here is a movie, beat by beat. It was so sad
Yeah.
and upsetting.
Yep. Yes,
I'm
to
really
everything you
trying
just
to
said.
remember this movie.
It's hard, isn't it?
There's nothing memorable about this movie. It has Kumail Nanjiani in it as a small little man.
Oh yeah,
Corny.
and the motorbike
yeah.
scene, and
Laziest
I
fucking
don't remember
name.
the motorbike scene. They're in a desert at some point. He arrives on an island in like a white shirt. I don't know why I remember that.
He fires off the most dangerous weapon in the universe into the desert for no apparent reason.
the 3-armed combat scene was kind of cool. I will give it props there. But then they go back
Is that
and
Rebecca Ferguson? Anyway,
what was the twist at the end and the
they'd been
Liam
neuralized
Neeson's
at the
actually
beginning.
the bad guy or something.
Yeah, Liam Neeson was-
obviously. And then he talks him out of it. Like the whole thing is just it's embarrassing.
I wish I'd been
I
neuralized.
really
after this fucking
hope
film.
that I never ever see a second of this film again. That if I went to the grave on that, it'd be good.
I would
It'd be
rather
a
watch.
life well led.
I would rather watch the third Hobbit film
Me too.
Out of curiosity.
than watch
I'd rather
this.
watch the fucking Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, easily.
I'd rather watch the Dark Tower again than this shit.
At least the Dark
100%.
Tower is so bad that it's like.
I see you're still resistant to my magics.
I reckon that the three of us could have a great time watching the Dark Tower. I would
100%.
never.
No one could ever possibly have any kind of entertainment watching Men in Black International. No one ever possibly. George, what's your number 2?
It is M. Night Shyamalan's Glass.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
Fuck
Nice.
that movie.
Fuck that noise.
God
Can you
damn.
imagine Bruce Willis's character drowning in a puddle? Like, I think I was so lenient on this film in the review.
Agreed.
Like, he was like in a puddle. Like, this guy was Superman in Unbreakable.
I know,
Like, this was like,
I know.
this is like Superman in the real world, tangible. He's like your next door neighbor. You can knock on his door and you can go speak to him. That's what it was like in Unbreakable.
No,
and in this
puddle.
one, what the fuck happened, man?
I've literally never in my life seen one movie that has ruined 2 movies I've loved for me. But there it is. There
birds
it
with one
fucking is.
stone.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
M.
And
Night
it was
Shyamalan-
the same fucking
I
guy.
respect the guy so much. He like refinanced
Me too,
his
me
house.
too, yep.
He like he did The Village. No, not The Village. The
The other one,
Visit.
The
The
Visit.
Visit.
Do you reckon he just got to him? Like the success of
It's just been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
what was the previous one? It was
The Sixth Sense.
no, his previous one.
Which
The one
previous
just before Glass. It was
The Last Airbender.
yeah.
Switch. What's it called? Stitch.
Which one?
The one with James McAvoy.
Oh, Split.
Split.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I say?
I
Stitch.
Switch.
had a moment.
With Will Smith.
Yeah, Split. Do you reckon that he got after Split and he was just like, I'm invincible. I'm back, baby.
No, he's
And
been
just-
there before. He's been there before. I think he's just an auteur. I think he's just a really interesting guy who has very interesting ideas. And sometimes
He goes hell
they
for
are
leather.
and
fucking
sometimes they
bizarre.
don't.
Like, I would respect him to the ends of the earth for always doing clearly what he wants to do. Sometimes it just fucking sucks ass.
That's
This
so heartbreaking.
This
It
isn't in my
really
top
is.
5 simply because I don't have the same association with Bruce Willis as you guys do from Unbreakable. I've never seen Unbreakable. For me, this was mostly disappointing because it
Even Split was dope.
came out. Yeah, Split was so
Split
good,
was
and this was like such a really
dope.
disappointment. It didn't. Yeah,
You know, like I was so lenient on that first fight scene. I think back to that, and you guys ripped the fucking that. I was like, no, it was pretty good. It was shite. It was absolutely shite.
I mean, the movie sets up this whole showdown on top of a skyscraper, then subverts its own expectations by just being a fight in a parking lot. And that's not the good kind of subversion.
It's like,
it's just,
that's
it's
we
just
didn't
a
have
couple of
enough
guys in
money
a parking lot.
subversion.
Yeah. And then they have this whole ending where it's like, fucking spoilers, where it's like, oh, the world has been changed because the world has seen what a superhuman is. It's a guy who can slightly push a van around and another guy who can run around like a fucking dog.
Did you deep fake him?
Yeah, it's like as if anyone would blink a fucking eye at any of that shit. And then all the scenes in the
Yeah.
comic book store where the guy's like, what's the origin of superheroes? Oh, like, where did Superman come from? It is so, like, fuck.
It showed the worst
he,
in M. Night, I feel.
when he does his meta shit right, like in Unbreakable, it's really great. I think the comic book stuff in Unbreakable is just bordering, like, too much. Like, it's
When I
almost too on the
rewatched
nose.
it's actually more comic booky than I remembered it.
Yeah,
Do
there
you
is
know
a
what
lot
you're
of that.
missing? And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. M. Night Shyamalan's
I was just
Cameo.
going to bring that up.
his cameo.
And that's
how fucking
that,
ridiculous is
doesn't
that?
fucking represent this movie?
Don't
in
I
like
know you?
In a little kernel.
It's like, hey, I need to stitch together these other movies that I'd already...
Shit.
Man, and also, I would say that is the worst Bruce Willis performance I've ever seen in my life. And this
That's
is a
saying
man,
something.
this is a man, yeah, who is so disinterested in acting for the past 20 years that I like Unbreakable was surprising. Whereas like, oh, he gives a shit in 1999. That's amazing.
It must be kind of nice to be Bruce Willis. It's like, you know,
I just want to
he's
play
not-
harmonica, man.
You know, he's not like he's not like a $30 million a movie guy. But, you know, he's banking a solid paycheck, I'm sure.
Mm.
Couple features a year, maybe 3 features a year, appearance here and there. Can be completely jaded, disinterested, and you're still getting booked. You know,
Yeah, I'll do
Fuck
another
it.
Die Hard.
fuck it. That's not bad. It could be worse.
Ugh.
But this film, as a number 2, you know, I don't think I've stressed how much I love Unbreakable, and rewatching it again, I had a newfound appreciation for it. Actually, you know, it's always heralded as like the sophisticated Superman. It's a lot. It's, you know, after so many years, it definitely feels like a film from another era. But it feels like a sophisticated film, a forward-thinking film,
Yes.
and Glass feels so
Backwards.
just not in service
And
of
dumb.
the DNA of what that film was trying to do, and a massive disappointment.
And it
Behind it, Chapter 2, the second biggest disappointment of the year for me.
Agreed, yeah. It makes me wish that he'd never tied Split into that shit
Yeah.
and he'd just done something else.
We're on to our number 1,
The big one.
the big one.
I might do a swap out.
By far, the worst film that I have seen this year, easily. It's The Lion King.
Dude, I think I'm going to
Um,
swap in there.
Did you have MIB in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
think
I agree with both of your different picks.
I think I'm going to swap
That's why I was
Lion King
that's
in
why I was
here.
confused. I figured for sure that that Lion King had to be there, but
That's an
Men in
honourable
Black
mention for me
certainly
at
have to
this
be in there.
stage, but no, he's
No,
got. I'm,
for
I'm
me-
joining you there.
And I will very specifically say why. It is the most useless, uninteresting, unnecessary film I think I have ever seen in my entire life. This film represents everything that is wrong with remakes, like everything. It takes a beautiful, wonderful film and it does absolutely nothing with it. It doesn't add value. It doesn't, you know, like it literally just takes the medium, not really, but sort of takes the medium and slightly changes it.
It subtracts. All it does is subtract.
Yeah.
Songs are worse. Performances are worse. The animation is worse. There's no expression in any of the characters.
And I mean, for what they had to work with, kudos. Like, it looks like from a technical standpoint, oh my God, it's so impressive.
Yes, but there are other talking animal films that have shown you can make an animal emote while
No,
still looking photorealistic.
I'm giving the props that it does deserve. Technically, really good. It didn't look as weird as I thought it would, having those animals talk. Fair call.
But isn't it interesting how in the zeros and ones, the pixel count, this is an amazing film, but if you don't have that emotional backing, if you don't have investment in the characters and the story,
It just
It
falls
means
apart.
nothing.
it really doesn't really stack up to much.
I mean, I can't express enough my utter distaste for this film because I don't think it should have been made. I don't see any value in it. And the fact that it is done so well monetarily means that Disney thinks that it is okay to make this kind of fucking rubbish.
The market dictates, you know, the market laughed it up. And I know a lot of people that were like, how sick was The Lion King? And I'm like,
No.
There's movies that
No, you don't.
I really didn't like that movie.
There's movies that are bad that I like, that they're bad. Like I can have fun when I talk about. So like Transformers is one that I will often talk about as being a really bad film. We laugh about it. It's ridiculous. This movie makes me genuinely sad. I don't like I don't even I never want to see this film again. Never.
I'm with you.
What about the sequel?
I don't like
Simba's
I just
Pride.
Are they doing a
I
sequel?
can't
Yes.
Really? Has
Yes.
that been announced?
No, but they're definitely doing
Yeah,
a sequel because
you're
it
right.
crossed $1 billion.
You're right.
I just
1.6 billion.
if they make another one, it won't make 800 million.
You're probably right.
No,
Bold choice,
like,
Cotton.
I would pretty much guarantee you.
You know what shat me the most
And it was day.
Yep. That was 1994. I was born in 1989. I was 5 years old when I went to the cinema and saw The Lion King. That shit hit me in the fucking feels like nothing will ever do again.
I rewatched that, and it hits me in the fucking feels.
I loved Elton John speaking out against this film.
Good.
And this, like, I love Jon Favreau. And I actually, you know what? I totally get what Jon Favreau was doing. He was working on the Mandalorian script while this was going down. He was like, yeah, just copy paste that shit. Yeah, cut, be prepared down, get Beyonce to do a little thing where they're fucking running across
What
the
the
desert.
fuck did he do?
Boom. He did fuck all. He was working on the Mandalorian script 100%. And that was an
And
awesome
that was
paycheck.
70% successful.
That was 110% successful.
Let's not do that. Ben, tell me,
Yes.
have you watched The Lion King?
I've seen a lot of segments of The Lion King.
You know what? There's a lot of movies that are really bad that I want you to watch because I think it'd be funny. Don't watch this.
I've made it clear
It's not
that I
worth it.
never will, and
But I want to make it clear I don't want you to watch
I
it.
was
And that
wa-
should say something.
Yeah, it
I was
does.
away when it came
really
out,
does.
and the review was done. Yeah, and I was like, I have avoided this bullet. I don't have to watch this
How did
fucking
you get out of
catastrophe.
that?
I feel so.
He was in Japan.
I feel so fucking vindicated that you guys have put this at your number one, because this is easily my most hated film of the year, which I haven't put on my list because Connor will hit me again. Because I think what they've done with this film is absolutely pathetic. It's so money grubbing. It's just like, let's just take a movie and make it so much worse and make more than $1 billion fucking dollars. I hate everyone who paid it money to see this. And it's just good. It's so horrible and gross and disgusting. I'm so glad I've never seen it and that I will never see the sequel to it.
It makes me sad. It genuinely, I just can't stress that enough.
And it would easily be my number one if my number one weren't Men in Black International.
This was my number one, but I just had to put Lion King in there.
I'm
It's
so
the
happy
concept of
with
not.
We
being
just
able
shat
to
on
say
Men in
it.
Black, so I feel like I got it out of my system.
good. Yeah, I'm so happy with our 4 number one picks.
yeah.
That's exactly what I would have
I
wanted
feel
out of
like
this year.
this best and worst of the year has been like the most consistent across any year we've had. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
completely
that's
wrong.
interesting.
I feel like
I feel
it
like-
would have been if I had watched half
There's
the
a lot of
films. They're the
reoccurring
good
films, I
ones.
feel.
Well, all of your movies were my honorable mentions. So
Yeah. But I mean, generally speaking, we're never. Actually, no, we have been at times complete opposites, where like a best film has been a worst film.
I think we.
I remember at least one that was it would have been like a best one that ended up being like an honorable mention for the worst.
That's when we were youngsters.
my worst is still Lion King.
Yeah, fair call. You know what? Now that it comes down to it, just,
All right, god damn it, yeah.
Men in Black.
Men in Black International, which was the movie that made me want to stop watching movies, specifically blockbuster movies. It was just the most cookie cutter piece of shit.
I love that clip that I cut out and put on Instagram, and it's like when a sequel breaks your heart, and it's you, and you're basically like literally like go see anything else, do anything else, go to a park, fly a kite. You'll have a better time.
Always my
than
recommendation.
watching this movie.
I love Men in
I
Black
love
1.
that.
I think Men in Black 1 is an all-timer.
Yep.
Men in Black 2, I enjoyed my whole life. I haven't watched it in a long time. Men in Black 3, I thought was pretty good for what they were trying to do. I think parts of it really work. Barry Sonnenfeld is a great director in a lot of ways. And Men in Black 4, I just thought was the worst thing I've seen all year.
I think something that happened in 2019 was the streaming really getting some momentum. And these big blockbuster tentpole films, you can't really stick to that model anymore. And I think Men in Black is a pure example of an old style model of franchise filmmaking that is just not applicable to the modern era. And I think people need to take note.
But I mean, if Marriage Story would work or I'm trying to think of a blockbuster that was like streaming or vice versa.
And
I mean,
what about that Michael
blockbusters.
Bay
No,
one?
sorry,
What about that Michael Bay one?
Blockbusters still work.
they definitely no. I'm not criticizing blockbusters. I'm just criticizing
Or the
like
cookie cutter like
IP,
B-grade.
like just using
franchise,
IP
yeah.
and nothing else. Like
and the movie star thing. Like Chris Hemsworth, other than Thor, his personal brand hasn't really extended far beyond that.
Black Hat.
From what is the sea? From the sea or
In the heart of the sea.
Moby Dick one?
Moby
Cabin
Dope.
in the Woods.
I did like it.
No, I really
I just watched that today. Actually, that's a
Oh, did
fucking
you?
great
It's
movie.
such a
It's
good
so
film.
fucking good.
Fucking love
fuck
that film.
every movie and just watch that one on loop.
All right, should we jump into some honorable mentions?
Yes, sir.
So my honorable mention is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Very good.
Terminator Dark Fate for the second half.
See, that was almost an honorable mention for me in the top 10.
For the first half, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
First half I thought was really excellent.
really like a lot of that movie.
Yeah,
I think
same,
it's
same.
really solid.
I think the last 5 minutes in the first half are really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
The other
can't
parts?
get behind. I thought it was not. I thought it was decent, and that's right down the spabidaba
Yeah.
spibity.
Spinoobada.
Dark Phoenix also has to go in there.
Really? Nah, I can't.
Best score of the year.
It's absolutely fantastic score. It at parts felt a bit inconsequential.
I'm there to defend Dark Phoenix.
I
That's
like
fair
it.
enough.
I
That's
like
fair
Dark
enough.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Dark Phoenix to
Um,
the grave.
Captain Marvel. Because I soured on it so much.
And Captain Marvel because it's
You
the worst
soy boy
film in the
cuck.
MCU canon.
You're actually a pseudo soy boy cuck.
That's it. And my final one is Lego 2. Lego Movie 2. I rewatched that recently
I almost put that in my
Um,
honorable mentions.
for worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rewatched it. I found it. I've rewatched the first one several times, like quite a few times. And I always enjoy that film. I really love that film. This one, second time was vastly worse than the first.
Wow.
The first one had a lot going for it in terms of like it made me laugh quite a bit. But the second one doesn't have the heart that the first one. It doesn't have that kind of pure message that the first one had. I found the second one to be just very kind of more preachy than it was heartfelt, and it kind of disappointed me.
That was one you really enjoyed, Benny.
Mm, love it.
Where are you sitting on that right now?
That was my honorable mentions for the top 10.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
that was
did not
one
like that one.
almost like it was on the verge of being in my honorable mentions, but I was like, it was good enough. It was just in the middle there. It was decent.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
Anything else in there?
Not really. Glass is, I guess, technically in there. But that's more in relation to Split as opposed to like I think I'm not nearly as sour on it as you guys, so I kind of feel bad putting it in there. That's pretty much it.
Got Hellboy. I just got enough of a kick out of that movie for it to scrape past. Men in Black, Lion King swapped out, and I definitely think Pet Sematary deserves an honorable mention.
I thought Pet Sematary did enough well to deserve not to be in that.
Yeah, I liked
yeah.
like a
Like all the
bit of that.
sister stuff, that was so creepy.
That was
like that's
great.
fucking awesome.
100%, but I think it deserves an honorable mention in the fact that it did a lot of things so well that it really kind of fucked out on.
It didn't have the Wendigo. I
it-
was so excited to see the Wendigo.
It really, it just ended, and I was like, normally I like it when movies do this, but that pissed me off.
I feel like on a rewatch it would fare better because I think the ending is so fucking insanely bleak that it's kind of cool. Like, so if you know that it's just going to suddenly stop in a weird place, I think you might like it more.
Potentially, but then, what was that? What was that movie
Oh yeah.
with the aliens and they can't make the sounds? A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
That ended on a really abrupt note, and that was dope.
Yeah.
This didn't have that same feeling.
Yeah.
That's my honorable mentions. You have any more to throw?
I've
in
only
there?
got one left, which is Brightburn.
I thought that would grace your top 5 actually.
Top 5.
Well, top 5 worst.
Which yeah, kind of sucked in a lot of ways, but it did a couple things right.
Original enough.
not original. It's
The
it's
most original thing.
insanely ripping off a whole bunch of other stuff. But
The least original film of 2019.
Superman, but evil.
Yeah, that's fucking novel, dude.
Wasn't bad. And there is a possibility that they're going to spin off like an evil Justice League thing out of it. And I'm going to be there for that, so I can't say that I hate this movie that much.
Anything else to add, fellas?
Great year in film. I really struggled to put together 5 movies I didn't like that much.
I thought 2018 might have had a better top 10.
2018
list.
had a better bottom 5, certainly.
Like a worse bottom 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
This year was more
2017 had an even better
like
one.
middle of the road.
This year was
Fuck you,
just a
Dark
lot
Tower.
of really good movies.
And in my top 10, 2 Netflix films. So that's pretty fucking cool. We're in a new era, folks. Let us know what your worst films of the year were, guys. We, sometimes we like to get in there and maybe chuck on a couple crap movies here and there. So let us know if there's anything of note. Did you agree with us? Did you not agree with us? Now's the time to voice your opinion in the comments, all right? Otherwise, forever hold your peace. We'll be back next week for the weekly movie show and plenty of reviews coming in 2020. See you later, Connor.
Bye.
See you later, Benny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.